Today I want to talk about the different levels at which you can pass matric. You can get a pass, you can get a higher certificate pass, you can get a diploma pass, and you can get a bachelor's pass. But how do you know how many points or what exam results you need for each of those? So I'm going to start off by just explaining what does it take to pass matric. So an ordinary pass. For an ordinary pass, you need at least 40% in 3 of your subjects, including your home language. So you need 40% for 3 subjects, and you must have 40% for your home language. Then you need at least 30% in 3 other subjects. So that's a pass. Right? You're doing 6 subjects. For 3 of them you have 40%, for the other 3 you have 30%, then you've passed. But you need 40% for your home language. Cool. So you've got a matric pass, you've got a matric certificate, but now there's higher levels. So the next level up is a certificate pass. If you get a certificate pass in matric, it means you can study a post-matric certificate or a higher education certificate program. So to get your certificate pass, you need at least 30% for the language of the institution you're applying to. So all the previous results I said count, but now you must get 40% for your home language. And if you study, let's say your home language is Tswana, and your second language is English, and you're applying to study at a college or a technikon where they are offering the programs in English, then you need to get at least 30% for that language. Basically, if you get 40% for your home language and 30% for your additional language, and you pass all your other subjects, then you will have a certificate pass. Cool. So the third level of passing is a diploma pass. So what does it take to get a diploma pass? For the diploma pass, it's the same thing. You need at least 40% for your home language. You need 40% for 3 of your subjects. But you also need at least 40% for your other subjects. So the way I read it, you basically need 40% for each subject or more to get a diploma pass. Then the highest level pass, the pass you need to go to university, is called a bachelor's pass. What do you need to get a bachelor's pass? Okay. You need at least 50% for 4 of your subjects, and you must obtain at least 30% for the language of learning at the institution you're applying for. So, that's pretty simple. You need 50% for 4 of your subjects. If you're going to study at university where they're offering the program, with the language in which they offer the program is English, you need at least 30% for English. So I do think it's useful to understand all the things that's on your matric certificate. We've now talked about your pass level, and here is a matric certificate. So there in that paragraph, they're actually saying the candidate is awarded with the National Senior Certificate and has met the minimum requirements for admission to higher certificate study. So that paragraph at the bottom of your matric certificate is telling you, it'll say pass, it'll say high certificate pass, or it'll say diploma pass, or it'll say bachelor's pass. That's where you find it on your matric certificate. The other thing that I think on a matric certificate always leads to questions are these. You'll see you have your subjects, you have your percentage results, and then you have achievement level. So what's that achievement level? Let me take you through. So you can get an achievement level anywhere from level 1 to level 5. Okay, so achievement, if you achieve an achievement level 1, that means you've got between 0 and 29%, and that's a fail. If you achieve between 30% and 39%, then you're on level 2, also known as elementary achievement. If you achieve 40 to 49% for a subject, that is what they call adequate achievement. That's a level 3 achievement. If you get 50% to 59% for a subject, that is level 4, and they also call that a moderate achievement. If you achieve 60% to 69% for a subject, that is a substantial achievement, and that is a level 5 achievement. If you achieve 70% to 79% for a subject, then you're on a level 6 of achievement, and that is meritorious achievement. And if you want to be on level 7, or the highest level of achievement, you must get 80% to 100% for a subject, and they also call that outstanding achievement. So there's an explanation for, those achievement levels and what they mean. Okay, the final thing I think that's worth explaining is, well, how are your matric results that appears on your matric certificate actually calculated? Eh? So what happens is, at school you're doing tests, you're doing exams at school, so in the school you end up with a mark at the end of matric. And that school mark is used for 25% of your final mark. So if you look at the final mark that's on here, it is a combination of the mark from your final exam, that counts 75% towards the final mark, and your school result mark that the Department of Education get from your school, that counts 25% of your final mark. So basically, the results on here, 2/3 of, not 2/3, okay, 3/4 of how that number is calculated is from your actual matric exam, and 1/4 of it comes from your class mark that you achieved at school. Cool, thank you.